Hey guys, it's me, and if you may notice, I'm not on camera right now, but that's because I'm getting videos and other projects done for the Christmas season, and I have to focus on all that, so I'm able to get some readings done right before then, so I apologize, and I was meant to do this a few days ago, but things kept popping up. Anyway, the holidays are coming, and there's so many good things that you guys will enjoy this year, and hopefully I can get it done pretty soon. On this story, Han Christmas. It's a pretty decent story. I like how, it's just pretty straightforward. It's just basically, as it's revealed at the end, there's just this guy who unfortunately passes away on Christmas Eve, but is able to spend one last night with his best friend, like, across the country and stuff, and that's pretty nice. I think this story takes place in, like, really early times, like, maybe the late 1800s, early 1900s, because they mention getting some cans of beer and stuff, but then again they mention also like how they get telegrams and stuff, so I'm assuming that it's like in the 1910s, 1920s possibly. I don't know. I mean, I wasn't there back then, so I don't know. I'm just making speculation. The whole point is the story is pretty decent. The only thing I have to address is my voice right now, because my voice is fine and all, but you may notice that I'm using a new microphone and it sounds slightly different. I've done my best to try to fix that up, but if it sounds weird to any of you guys, like if it sounds too stacky or whatever, just give me a heads up. Just leave a comment below and just explain that maybe you like it different, or maybe I can fix it in a different way. Maybe I can just use the old microphone I used to use for now. I don't know. I just want to make sure you guys are comfortable with whatever I'm doing, and yeah, that's pretty much it. I'll see you guys soon with more projects. This is what a friend of mine told me in my first experience of camping. The soft thud of falling footsteps echoed behind him as he hurried through the snowflakes towards home. They kept pace with him, quickening when he quickened and slowing when he slowed. It was creepy. His flesh crawled at the sound, and he sped up, cursing himself for walking home alone from the midnight Christmas Mass. Normally not a pious man, the middle-aged bachelor had suddenly been struck by a wish to hear the old Christmas song sung once again by a church choir, and had walked across town to attend the service. Now he regretted his choice as he passed dark house after dark house in the snowy night, and the footsteps always followed. He sped up until he was nearly running, and skidded into a tree. A few more paces brought him to the bottom of his front steps, and as he dashed up them, he realized suddenly that the falling footsteps had ceased abruptly. He glanced behind him at the cross tree from which he had just turned, and saw only one pair of footprints in the snow-covered street where there should have been two. He frowned in puzzlement, and then shuddered as a cold breeze struck him, driving snow against his collar, and slammed against the door. The freezing white powder seemed to almost pass through the door, but that was superstitious nonsense. His hand was shaking as he unlocked the front door and hurried inside. He expected black nothingness, but was delighted to see the yellow glow of firelight coming from his study doorway upstairs. His old housekeeper, whom he thought would be firmly asleep in her attic bedroom, must have lit the fire pending his return. He shrugged out of his coat and paused for a moment, amazed to find it still warm and dry, though he had walked for more than a mile through a snowstorm. It was almost as if he had been walking in a bubble of calm air, though he remembered the soft snowflakes hitting his face when he first stepped out of church, before the mysterious footsteps could begin. His shudder was interrupted by a shout of greeting as his old friend Andy came hurrying out of the study. His whole face lit up in a grin at the unexpected surprise. The two men shook hands heartily and retreated back to the warmth of the firelight, talking so fast they stumbled over each other's words. Andy had left town years ago to take a government job in DC, and they hadn't seen each other since. Nearly an hour passed before it occurred to him that his guest might be hungry. His offer of a meal was instantly accepted, but Andy was unwilling to leave the comfort of the fire to eat in the kitchen, so he jogged downstairs alone to fetch some food. He didn't wonder at his friend's reluctance to join him in the kitchen. Andy had looked very pale and had kept shivering with cold while they talked. He hoped his friend wasn't ailing for anything. A few moments later, he was back with warmed up meat and potatoes and a couple of glasses of beer, apologizing profusely as he handed Andy a plate for the mismatched dinnerware. Andy just laughed and hunkered down to eat. When they were both finished, he showed his friend to the guest room and then tumbled into his own bed to sleep, all his apprehension caused by mysterious footsteps forgotten in the visit of his friend. He jumped out of bed Christmas morning and dashed immediately downstairs to the guest room to rouse his friend. Andy wasn't there, and the bed had not been slept in. He ran down to look in the study, but Andy wasn't there either, and one plate full of food was sitting on the end table beside his old friend's chair. It was completely untouched, though he had seen Andy eating from it the night before. Skin creeping at the thought, he ran to the kitchen and asked his housekeeper if she had seen Andy, but the housekeeper had seen no one either the previous night or this morning. He flopped down on the bottom step of the staircase, completely baffled. Where had Andy gone? It was a mystery that plagued him all Christmas Day, and he did not enjoy his holiday dinner at all, a fact that annoyed his housekeeper. He was awakened the next morning from a restless sleep by the sound of the front door bell. He stumbled out of bed and was splashing water from the bedside pitcher onto his sleepy eyes when a knock came at his bedroom door. When he answered, his housekeeper handed him a telegram that had just arrived. As she hurried back downstairs to prepare his breakfast, he opened it curiously, not knowing who would be telegraphing him so urgently. As he read the telegram, he started to tremble. The message was short and to the point. Andy's family regretted to inform him that his old friend Andy had passed away on Christmas Eve. He sat down hard on the bed, the telegram fluttering away from his hand. It must have been Andy who had followed him home on Christmas Eve. That would explain the eerie footsteps and the dry coal in the middle of the snowstorm. He must have spent Christmas Eve with a ghost.